Sorry.
What?
I don't know. What are we talking about now?
We are talking about...
What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about it.
I want to talk about Assassin's Creed Black Flag
Yeah.
Resynced.
Great, then welcome to Dawn of Discussions when we talk about things.
Stuff.
It's Guy, it's Ron, and our special guest,
Grogu.
it's Max.
Max.
Oh yeah.
Grogu's here too.
Ooh.
He was here last week, I feel.
He's here every week.
He's here every week.
Does he ever
He is
leave?
now.
You keeping him hostage?
No, he's here by choice.
Okay.
Moderate choice.
So, I'll start my very autistic tangent
Alright.
Okay.
by asking you how, if you were to be any of the assassins,
Okay.
or the main
Ooh.
characters,
Cool.
who would you like to be?
To be, so it's not about who you think is the coolest one or best story. It's
Who
just
would you
who would
actually
you like
wanna
to
be?
actually be.
I guess, yeah. Or you could also go with that as well.
No, because I think Ezio is the best one, but I don't know that I'd like to be him. 'Cause,
No, I wouldn't want to be Ezio.
His life kind of sucks.
It really does.
In what way?
Let's start with the fact that when he was 17, his dad and two brothers were hanged in front of him.
True, but you also got Connor Kenway, whose entire tribe was burnt to the ground alongside of his mother.
I didn't say he was better.
Fair.
I think there's a very short list of assassins I'd actually be willing to be. I think, weirdly, Jacob or Evie Fry from Syndicate, maybe.
I would say
Weirdly, Edward would not be the worst.
I would probably say William, because he can be a terrible dad and still be considered a good guy.
Which one was William again?
Oh, you mean Desmond's dad?
Yeah.
Wow, very yeah, fair.
That's true.
He is
I wouldn't want to
technically
be
an
him, to be
assassin. He's
fair.
not a main protagonist, but
Yeah.
still, like, I would
He
be
is an
that,
assassin,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, Altair is pretty good.
Altai is fucking sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
he had to go through like a period of growth, but that's human.
Yeah, he was an orphan, and when he was going
Yeah.
through his series of games, he was only a very young man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like even then, like in Revelations as well, you see like his growth and like becoming, the leader that he becomes.
Exactly.
He had a pretty decent family as well, loving
Yeah.
family,
Yeah.
which is
Very
good.
rare for the
Very
assassins,
rare.
I feel, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say Altair. I'm locking it in. That's my answer.
Cool.
I'm just a sucker for Black Flag, so I'd probably go Edward Kenway.
Fair.
I also just love the tropical climate, and
Right,
pirate
yeah.
ships are cool.
You get to meet Blackbeard.
That's good because it gets into the topic as well.
Nice.
Nice.
There you go. All right.
Cool.
You had an answer for this as well, or
Ooh.
You didn't think
you asked the question?
Uno reverse, bitch!
No, to be fair, Edward probably has he does have his struggles, but it's more personal. It's not like, oh my god. I mean, the only time you deal with death is basically throughout the game. So all his friends die. So you're by
Beyond that,
yourself.
he's pretty good.
Yeah. Beyond that, pretty decent. Yeah.
Mm.
Plus, it's like you said, tropical island. You don't technically become an assassin
Yeah.
until the very end.
He had a family as well.
He does die. He does have a family, but he does die
He does.
tragically.
He does die tragically.
Mm.
Like,
He
like the
dies
age of
very
40
early.
or something,
Yeah.
Yeah, not even very old. Yeah.
Wait, how does he die?
He
He's
dies.
assassinated.
He dies by the Grand Master Templar, I think, in London,
Yeah.
and with the assistant. I think his son does assist
Yeah.
in
but-
defending Edward, but I can't remember. That's in the novelization.
Yeah,
Oh, I
Of
see.
the rest of the
I think
story.
I think
That
basically he
sucks.
discovers
Yeah.
his son was about to become a Templar,
Mm.
and like this family drama surrounding that, and then he is killed by the Grand Master, and then I think what's his name of his son again? Connor's father.
Hatham.
It's
Hatham.
Hatham. Yeah, I think Hatham basically fucks off, but he approaches his half sister, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah.
And she's like, "No, I want fucking nothing to do with this," and she fucks off. And I think
No,
she
I
kind of
think-
helps the assassins a little bit to some degree.
No, she does. She does help in defending her father, but yeah.
Yeah, but afterwards she wants
She is
nothing
an
to do.
assassin.
Yeah,
at the end of
but
the day.
she is, but I don't think she really wanted much to do with any of it.
Yeah,
It's from
fair.
what
I can't
remember.
remember. Yeah. But no. So I'm gonna have to paragraph or note this for myself because I will go on all tangents.
Sure. Yeah.
So to go off on
We go on tangents on the show all the time. You're
Yeah.
good.
oh, it gets worse. I
Yeah,
could go
okay.
on for hours,
Okay.
and I emphasize hours.
We have 1 hour.
exactly. So I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
articulate myself.
I think 1 hour is already pretty generous for what the show is, but I feel like if we limit it any further, we just don't talk.
Exactly. But so you asked me this before about how you feel, and you both gave separate answers on this. How I feel about the new remake.
Yes.
I think Was it you who said I'd hate it? No, you said
I
would
said
hate it.
I said you would hate it because you didn't like it.
I thought you said I'd like it, or what was your
Probably
answer?
like it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just more Assassin's Creed 4, isn't it? So, you know.
But you're not. That's not your favorite one. That's to be fair. That's the reason why I went with like it was. My mindset was like, oh, you're probably thinking, that's not the one I would have wanted resynced. I would have wanted a different one, like 3 or 2 or whatever. Yeah.
So I'm very mixed on this because out of all the Assassin's Creeds you could remake, and especially with the way current Ubisoft is with its current technology, Black Flag is the best one to remake because it fits the open world narrative that they established a lot more heavily in the RPG formula.
Fair.
And this is why I have a series of notes because I'm like trying to articulate it in a way. So I'm gonna give a very big hot take.
Okay.
I think mechanically, in terms of ground gameplay, not ship combat because it's its highlight, ground gameplay is probably the weaker of the OG Assassin's Creed.
That's fair.
For a very big reason. I think the only thing it does shine a light to is its stealth, but it's using the Kenway. It's using the Kenway stealth system, which is better in Black Flag.
Sure.
But in the end of the day, it tries heavily to try and be a traditional stealth game, and it's really not.
No.
Because if you look at Assassin's Creed 1, that had a huge focus on like blending in with specific crowds. It had an emphasis on how you move throughout the world.
Yeah.
And that's why it didn't have things like traditional crouching and stuff like that. So when Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag kind of came in with like this traditional stealth system, but none of the mechanics that emphasized that, that's why a lot of people tend to say like, oh, stealth was really weak because you couldn't even crouch in those games. And it's like, it was never about the crouching.
No.
It was about like hiding amongst crowds.
Yeah, hiding in plain sight.
Yeah, and that game doesn't do it. And that's why its stealth was still pretty strong, but still fairly weak at the same time.
Yeah.
What this game, what the remake sets to do is kind of correct itself in that regard. And that's really exciting to see because it does bring what AC Shadows was very strong at, which is very traditional stealth, which is I crouch or go prone and then hide.
Yeah.
No crowds, no nothing. So in that regard, it does really well. It also brings back crowd blending again, which I'm very excited about.
Okay, cool.
But what makes me mixed overall about this is that this is Ubisoft in its lowest.
Yeah.
And now they're going, we're going to take a big risk because we've basically fucked ourselves at this point.
They have nothing else going on right now.
Yeah.
Like, anytime recently that they've done any sort of, like, trying to do something that pleases people and then it does, they shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, with X-Defiant, you know, pretty good shooter game. It was free. And then they were like, oh, we're not making any profits off of this. We should probably shut this down.
Yeah. I did that with a lot of their games. They they canned the
Yeah.
Prince of Persia remake because it didn't meet their standards. And
I don't know what their
standards
standards
already
are.
dog shit anyway. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but like, in my opinion, and this, I'm only gonna go over the games that I've played. Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yeah.
Yes. Wildlands to an extent as well, but Breakpoint more than anything.
Hmm.
And there was another game that they probably Watch Dogs, to be honest with you, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They're all the same fucking game.
Yeah.
They're just textured differently, and there's slightly different things that you can do in it,
Yeah.
but they're all the same thing in the sense that every interaction that you have in doing things is you have a device or creature that scans the area.
Yeah.
You sneak around, you kill people in there, and then you take over bits until you gradually take over the whole map.
And it's all like an RPG based system where
Yes.
it's got stuff that's good, but it gets better.
It's the same fucking games.
They basically just reused assets, but had
Yeah.
like some semi-different systems involved.
Exactly.
And this is what makes me excited for Black Flag Resync, is that they're being very clever about it. They are reusing same assets.
Yeah.
In Assassin's Creed Shadows, they basically created this thing called the Anvil Engine, which, to summarize, is
They had
meant
the
to
Anvil
like.
engine for years though, hadn't they?
I can't remember if they
Pretty
had.
sure they
another
had
one.
it since like Assassin's Creed 3. They probably reiterated on it over the years.
No, so they had the Anvil Engine, and they had a different system for Assassin's Creed Unity, and then they made another one called the Anvil Engine as well, which really poor naming. I don't know.
Did they just make different engines with the same name over and over again?
Probably.
Seems like it.
Okay.
Seems like an Ubisoft thing to do.
Yeah, that sounds insane.
But I am more than welcome to be corrected on this if I'm fucking up my terminology. But
I'm pretty sure they had it since Assassin's Creed 3, but
they did switch it for the Unity one though. That's the thing.
They did.
It's
Yeah,
either
okay.
they went back on. Well, I don't think they went back on it. But no. Anyway, so
it's all a real engine in the end.
The benefit of it is that all the updates, like they've been making parkour updates for Assassin's Creed Shadows to no avail really, because Assassin's Creed Shadows environment is dog shit.
Yeah. For
truth be told.
that purpose, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Or just in general.
it looks beautiful, but you can't parkour for fuck in it. Like
Yeah.
there's bits, but it's really tricky to find. But they basically took loads of updates. They have like back and side ejects like they did in the old games.
Yeah.
The only thing they don't really have is a high and low profile system, and that's because they went for more traditional movement base where it's like, oh, let's press the L3 button and we can sprint, and it's like that was never a part of Assassin's Creed.
No.
You had control over your movement for a reason.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that Ubisoft really does that really irks me. It's like it takes all of its unique aspects, and if someone complains about it, it's like, oh, we'll get rid of it and put something generic there, and it's like you kind of just you kind of crush the whole dynamic of your own system. Like you're adding crowd blending again, but that doesn't synergize with traditional movement. It synergizes with your movement.
Yeah, I think part of like it's very much one of those things where what they're doing is similar to what I think to a degree, kind of what comic book companies have been doing as well to a degree, where it's like someone complains about something that really was never an issue. The company goes, "Oh, we'll fix that," and then people who actually read the comics or play the games go, but the people who just complain about it don't actually play the game or read the comics.
Yeah.
Why are you fixing it for them when they're not even interested?
And even then, it contributes to a piece of the puzzle, and you basically remove that piece and put like a weird geometric shape
You just
into
put
it.
down a square.
And it doesn't work because it doesn't fit together.
Yeah.
So what makes me happy about this is that this was built from the ground. This remake was built from the ground up using its more updated system.
Yeah.
So it means that because even then, like OG Black Flag was very much rushed. And this is the real irony with Ubisoft games, is that some of their best games had the most horrendous dev times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Assassin's
and
Creed
as well. Like
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was made in a year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I remember as well, like Unity was broken.
Yeah, because they
Yes.
kept rushing shit.
Yeah,
Because they wanted like something
Yeah.
akin to Call of Duty.
To be fair, this is why now, like, there's a whole different environment since those OG Assassin's Creed games where now you can, but you can release broken games and then just like reiterate on them as people already have access to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which sucks. So
Yeah.
this is their chance to do it, and I am seeing it. It looks good. Like the parkour is a lot more fluid. I don't know
Yeah.
what the control's going to be like, and that's what kind of
Yeah.
The
bothers
issue
me.
is Ubisoft made a habit out of making trailers look good.
No. This isn't trailer. This is gameplay.
They've still done that before. They did
Well,
it for the
yeah,
Division.
it's basically
True.
their
They did it for the
trailer
Division,
is
they
like
done it.
8 minutes of gameplay just narrated by Matt Ryan.
No, but they have added updated gameplay stuff
Okay.
as well. So they're showing updates as well. They're being very open about this, which does give me a bit of confidence. I could be being fooled, but it does give me confidence.
I mean, they're being open in what they're open with, but who knows what's behind closed doors
yeah,
still.
exactly.
But I think because the one I remember is when they released the Division. And there was the real, like, when the Division trailer first, like, gameplay trailer first came out, and I thought it looked great, and then everyone said, oh, this is such a fucking scripted, like, gameplay. Everything that happens here is not natural.
Well, of course it's scripted because they have to showcase things.
Yeah, they have to showcase things, which is not a huge problem.
Yeah.
But Ubisoft does it to such a massive degree. Because when Call of Duty did their, like, showcases, they had single-player game missions that they showed.
Yeah.
And, of course, those are scripted because it's a single-player campaign.
Yeah.
Whereas, with a multiplayer game like The Division, it was harder to do.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Call of Duty is a whole other can of worms that we could just lay where it lies. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm looking at it, and they're showing various game footage. They're not just showing like showcase footage that makes it look really popular. They are showing like snippets of gameplay and like talking about it as they go on. And you see like the old versions and the new versions. So in their original showcase, parkour had like a stiffness to it. And this is something I was going to talk about.
Yeah.
But then, because obviously delay and everything, I saw more gameplay footage, and they started removing that kind of stiffness, and they're trying to make it more fluid.
Yeah, that's
based on the criticism. So there is changes happening. So as for parkour, there are advantages that I've seen from AC Shadows that look cool. I'm a very big fan of the vault mechanic, funny enough. Like the combination between dodge and vaulting would work so well with like an AC1 akin
Yeah.
parkour system.
Yeah.
Because it does have a vault mechanic in AC1, a very hidden mechanic, but it's very contextual. But
Yeah.
having like a button that just lets you do it, I think would be amazing. And
Yeah.
applying that to like a high profile, low profile system
Yeah.
would be really good. But they don't have that.
Yeah.
So I'm not expecting big things, but I acknowledge its strengths, and I kind of wish that they kind of go for like the old control scheme for it.
Yeah.
And apparently they're working on that, so let's see. I do want to talk about combat as well, because
Yeah, go for it.
my big thing, this is something I get really fucking angry about as well.
Okay.
So the big criticism of OG Black Flag is that the combat's dead brain simple, right?
Yeah, there's not much to it.
The only thing that's difficult about it is its bugginess, which, hot take, Assassin's Creed Black Flag is buggier than Unity. Big hot take.
I don't know about that, but yeah, fair
Yeah,
enough.
I wouldn't fully
Yeah.
agree with fair.
Yeah. So there was a lot of criticism about it being like simple, and I'm like, well, the thematic element was you're meant to feel like a badass,
Yeah.
like a badass pirate and a badass assassin, you know. And on top of that, if we're complaining about the reason I complain about combat being simple is that you want parkour to be simple, but you know, if I want more complexity in parkour, it's useless. But you want more complexity in combat, which I think is kind of useless in an Assassin's Creed game where you're predominantly trying to be stealthy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's why I get frustrated with that. It's like I don't come to Assassin's Creed for its complex fighting system.
Yeah.
If I wanted that,
Yeah.
I'd play literally
To
anything
be fair,
else.
it doesn't really traditionally have a complex fighting system. I mean, the combat in like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2 and even Brotherhood was like, it wasn't complex, it just worked, and
Yeah.
it was good enough for what it needed.
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more versatility to Assassin's Creed 1 that people give credit for. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do agree. But it didn't need it because
Yeah,
that
I
wasn't the
think
point.
2 more so, but yeah. I
Yeah,
agree.
2 was very more simple in my opinion. But
Mm.
yeah, no, but this combat system does look really cool, to be fair.
Yeah.
Because it's, I heard a YouTuber say, a guy called Leo K, and he speaks about like how the intention of its design seems to be that you're trying to go for kill states rather than trying to do loads of damage, which is really cool because that's kind of like the dramatic flair of what it's like to be an assassin. You're not trying
Yeah.
to go for like, look, I'm not going to be able to stab you and do enough damage to kill you. I'm going to have to take advantage of my environment,
Yeah.
my tools, of like,
Yeah.
you know, like being able to take advantage via your body because you can trick people in the game.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
much control in how you engage with combat, which
Yeah.
really excites me. And I'm like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
But how is this going to compare to with stealth as well, which is going to lead into my other thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm excited for stealth because there is the crouch and it fits the thing better, yada yada. There's more there's crowd blending again.
Yeah.
But what the big problem usually is with like games that do both combat and stealth within its same stuff. Not unlike Batman Arkham, but Batman
Sure.
Arkham separates the two almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't engage in stealth with combat and vice versa. It's either you do Predator or you do combat, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as I was seeing like the gameplay footage, I saw icons of like, oh, you could do healing and stuff. So for one, it annoys me when people say, "OG Black Flag was simple." I'm like, you have healing potions. Go away.
Yeah.
Get rid of that. Like, put emphasis on the stealth.
Yeah.
Like, if people are gonna attack you and you can't heal, force yourself to run away. So yeah, so you
Yeah.
can engage with the
Because-
parkour.
Well, that's how
and
it
engage
always
with the
has
stealth.
been.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, I've kind of think, because it's very much when they started doing like all these new systems and things, like since, well, realistically when they started like going with the new traversal mechanics for things like Syndicate
Yeah.
with the zip line thing, and then
Oh,
and then Odyssey and Origins
Odyssey.
and Valhalla with all the RPG.
Valhalla.
Like, Valhalla. But the thing is, I'm looking at it going, here's the problem. Ubisoft went, how do we innovate on a game that was already good?
But they don't.
Well,
But they don't, they regress, if
yeah.
anything.
Well, this
Yeah.
this
But
is
they
my
try
thing.
to adapt things.
So for me, like, Assassin's Creed 1 was good, right? A lot of things that it had
Yeah.
going were already in a very good place.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed 2 just expanded on them. It was really not. It didn't have to be
Yeah.
much more than
I-
that.
You just had to add a couple new things every once in a while to keep people interested. But
I have various opinions on this, and it all kind of comes together in the end. So they regress on themselves because while the new game is being developed, or where the new game is coming out, the other game is being developed. So any of the issues that game has updated and done, that other game's not going to be able
Yeah,
to
but
do.
you know why?
And that's why I agree.
It's
Yeah.
because of yearly releases.
And here's the problem: when they did take that 1 year break for when the movie came out,
Which also wasn't very good.
which also wasn't very good. I very much thought you liked it. I knew.
Look, I have no taste in like good stories. I just enjoy content.
At least you admitted.
At least you admit to it. But the thing is, for me, which is ironic because it brings me to this point, like, the thing is, like, I'm looking at this going, you didn't have to innovate dramatically, which I think is what Ubisoft wanted to do. Hence the 1 year break. But I'm like, you could give people literally the same system, and everyone would be fine, so long as each story for each game was fantastic.
Yeah, and there's more variety in different missions.
Yeah, this is the tricky thing, because I think, to go back onto your point about how Assassin's Creed 1 iterated on Assassin's Creed 2, it really depends, because I think in some ways it kind of gentrified what was there. So for instance, Assassin's Creed 1, a lot of people complained about the slow climbing, and obviously they sped it up because the buildings are bigger.
Yeah.
But I think that was I personally say that was somewhat of a downgrade, because it means that you don't engage with the mechanics, because the idea is that the reason you slowly climb is so that it encourages you to find parkour paths more. You know, it's almost like it goes back into my puzzle piece thing. It's like, we're gonna take this out and make this quicker, but then you don't compensate for the other areas of it as well.
Yeah, but to be fair, parkour was still faster than just climbing onto a building.
True, that's fair. But
and I think the other thing for me was looking at it, like, because it's always like they focused on that, and it's really cool because all the movement is it's really satisfying.
Yeah.
But I'm also looking at it, and now I'm comparing it to a different game in my head, going, really the thing they should have innovated was not how you fight in combat-wise with the complexity like they did with later games.
Yeah.
Hitman.
Right.
Instead of just stab, which was the boys predominant, you just stab someone and assassinate them. Why not poison them? Why not orchestrate them into getting into an accident? So, which is kind of what an assassin's supposed to do.
I don't remember if it was Assassin's Creed 2 where they introduced it, or Brotherhood, but you could use a poison blade.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because the guy just started attacking people.
So this is the thing. Like, Hitman, this is a good comparison, and I want to tackle this actually, because that is not meant to be the fantasy of Assassin's Creed. It's meant to be a power fantasy of being an assassin, whereas Hitman is meant to be you trying to be tactful as a hitman.
Right.
And I actually trying to be a real assassin, not the wet dream fantasy of an assassin.
Basically, yeah.
No, to be fair, Hitman is one of those where it's like, there's the way that it's supposed to be played, and then the way that it ends up going.
Yeah, which is
pretty much every time.
How can I make this death so ludicrously silly?
Yeah.
Well, no, what the way you're meant to do it is there's a couple of different ways in which you can do the kill stealthily. How people actually end up playing it because they're not competent enough to do any of them is, oh god, I've messed it up so badly.
Yeah.
Oh god, everyone is shooting at me.
But Hitman,
I don't know how to get out of this.
Hitman's assassin fantasy is a strategy.
Yeah.
Whereas the assassin fantasy is how elegantly can you kill people and how swiftly can you do it.
Yeah.
So there is elements of like crowd blending and stuff that you can do, and I do wish they do iterate on this.
Yeah.
In fact, if I was, they're gonna do an Assassin's 1 remake, and I'm very skeptical about how that would look. But to give a little example of like what I would like from that is that in AC4 Resync, they have like a little bar that indicates about how visible you are.
Yeah.
I would love that to be more integrated with the crowd blending system, because obviously we've updated to the point where you can't just crowd blend with monks, but there'll be more benefit crowd blending with monks, because that's why the assassins wear white robes, because they're meant to blend in with them more. But why not iterate on that? Why not be able to crowd blend with everyone, but you have like semi vision,
like
whereas if you go into
how much
certain...
do you stand out and things? Because one thing as well, like another sort of mechanic, and it goes to Metal Gear Solid 5, is like, if you find a strategy in how to play a mission really works for you and you keep using it, there's a point where in later missions the AI starts going, okay, you keep hiding in like trash bins, the AI is going to start checking them. Oh, you keep attacking during the night, they're going to start using, flashlights and night vision.
Yeah.
It's like, that would make sense in Assassin's Creed, because it's like, if you keep using the same tactic over and over again, the AI should pick up after a while going, they always assassinate us from the roof, We should just put guys on the roof and just early warning.
Yeah.
Just, like,
Yeah.
Exactly. There's also other aspects as well, and I'm going to give some credit to Ubisoft because I mentioned the vote mechanic.
Yep.
I want to mention their AI and their use of it. I think it was more starting from AC3, but they really fucking did well with it on AC Origins.
Okay.
So AI had like a day and night cycle, like they had
Yes.
tasks throughout the day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Imagine how, like, in Assassin's Creed 1, the point of it is that you would find information about your target, and everyone found this boring. I thought it was cool, because the point
Yeah,
of
I
it
thought
was
it was
like,
fun. Yeah.
you're gathering information.
You're
to
being an
find-
assassin.
Yeah.
Literally. But imagine if they iterated on this, combining this AI system with your target.
That'd be great.
So all the information you get is like, hey, throughout this time of day, he's doing this. Throughout this time of day, he's
Yeah.
over here doing this
Yeah.
thing.
To be fair, this sort of thing is why I think. I mean, there's two things about this really. The first one is this is why I think that Warner Brothers should just unpatent the Nemesis system. But they also had the Nemesis system in Odyssey technically, and that kind of was working as well.
Yeah.
Where it's like with the mercenaries that you could hunt, but you didn't know who they were unless you actually like ran into them or found out information about them.
Yeah.
They could just reuse that.
Yeah, in a way. I mean, I thought about this. At first I felt like the Nemesis system wouldn't work very well with Assassin's Creed, because the big difference is
Yeah.
that, in the Nemesis system, it works off the fact that you are immortal,
Yeah.
and you can't really do that. Unless you get, I don't know, find a way to...
I guess they did have something similar. Well, they had a locked version of it, but they had something similar
No,
with
they-
the Order in Odyssey.
they had the mercenary system, where, like, you
They had-
basically
they
got
had both
random
systems.
NPC
Yeah.
bosses, and it was cool, but...
Yeah, but they had both systems where it's also like there was the order of whatever
Yeah.
the fuck it was, and then you basically had to find out information about them. Some were story locked, some were
Yeah.
not.
But it was very derivative. I'm talking about, like, imagine, like, because they were locked to one location, and it was very easy to tell if you bumped into them
Yes.
in the environment, because it's like, oh, you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
Stab. Whereas, I mean, like, imagine if they had their own routines.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
But yeah, like, that's the issue with Ubisoft as well. It's like, they take inspiration from other games because it worked well. And I'm like, I don't deny that's not a cool idea,
You're
because...
just homogenizing though.
Well, it's not just that. They don't put the same legwork as
Yeah.
what those
Yeah,
games do.
they
Like,
really don't.
they try to create their own version of the Nemesis system, but it's like, you're missing the point of what made that great.
Yeah.
They tried to make a Red Dead Redemption 2 akin game with Assassin's Creed Valhalla, funnily, with the ships
And
Yeah,
also
but
with,
that mainly made me not interested in it.
And weirdly, it kind of like with Breakpoint as well, where like you
Yeah.
had more like survival mechanics in Breakpoint than you did in Wildlands.
Yeah.
Which was kind of meh.
Yeah.
And I think another thing for me as well
Sounds
that with
interesting to me,
Ubisoft.
actually.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I like
It's okay.
Breakpoint, but it has a lot of problems.
Yeah, fair.
Oh yeah, the fact that it's broken
Yeah.
is one of them.
But the major thing for me with whatchamacallit, with what game was I about to make? Oh no, with Ubisoft is it's maybe I don't know how big they it feels like they think they're a bigger company than they are, and they spread themselves very thin.
Yeah.
Like they've got arguably maybe 5 major titles realistically. They've got Assassin's Creed, which is probably their biggest.
Yeah.
They've got Ghost
Ghost
Recon,
Recon.
Rainbow Six,
Mhm.
The Division now, and
Prince of Persia.
Prince of Persia.
Prince of
I mean,
Persia.
even beyond that, I think Splinter Cell is another one.
Splinter Cell is one, but
They've done nothing with.
they've
Splinter Cell
done the
for
only thing they've
so
done with
long.
it is they just inserted Sam Fisher into other
other
things.
games instead of giving us another
Like I
Splinter
think
Cell game.
into
Yeah.
Rainbow Six and
It's-
Wildlands and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it's just not.
It's just not the same.
I wouldn't...
And Watch Dogs as well.
And Watch Dogs. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've got so many of these things, but it feels like it's still just one studio working on all of them versus things like
because
EA,
they're-
who have all these other
yeah.
studios doing all these different
But
games.
that's
that
also
they're-
because
They do-
they're all the same games.
they do-
effectively.
They
Yeah.
do use other studios, but this is the problem. Like, it means that there's no continuity. So whenever there's progressions and things that have improved on the prior game, and this
Yeah.
is what the Anvil engine was set to do.
Yes.
And we are seeing the results of that, and that's what's making me positive about Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync,
Yeah.
because it's literally taking what Shadows did right and fixing what it did wrong and
Yeah.
putting it into that game.
Yeah.
And they're creating the world to fit that a lot better with that as a result.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of makes you think, okay, you fucked up how many times before? I am willing to kind of like see where
But-
this goes.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting because I think we talked about it briefly, and you mentioned that basically this is their do or die now.
Yeah.
For Ubisoft, because essentially it is like their stock is at an all-time low. Faith in them from the consumers are at a abysmal low point. Let's be blunt. Like no one's got faith in them anymore.
No.
I don't. Like I've not bought an Ubisoft game since.
To be fair, they have hit record pre-order sales and wish lists. No, I think it's a wish list. Like everyone's.
I would imagine wish lists, not pre-orders.
Yeah,
I imagine everyone's waiting to see how it goes. Before.
Pre-orders of. Like pre-orders for the deluxe, the collector's edition has run out.
Okay.
But that could either be scalpers or.
I will say,
it might be
with
scalpers.
like half the episode left, I will say, maybe a bit of a bomb. I am not excited for it.
That's fine.
Because when I first played Assassin's Creed 3, they introduced the whole like ship mechanic and everything.
Yeah.
I thought that was the most boring part of the game. I was like, I really hope they never do this again.
And
then
they
made
a whole game out
that was
of it.
entirely that. And it was always just that, and I had the same problem every time where it's like I was so reliant on the ship, and forced to do this part of the game that I really could not give less of a fuck about, that I really don't want to dedicate my time having to do that all over again.
No, that's
in
fair.
admittedly
That's
a
fair.
properly better game, but still.
But that's completely fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
this
is
is
fair.
this is why I had a bit of an issue
It's that-
with it as
it's-
well,
it's
because
a-
of
yeah.
that reason. Because on ground, there's so much they could have done.
The ground stuff is great
I
to an extent.
well, it's a very it was a very simplified version of what like if we're going to talk about the differences, because Ubisoft don't iterate, they change really, and that's the way I'm going to describe it. So on Assassin's Creed 3 you had their notoriety system, which was fucking aggressive as shit.
Yeah, it was.
And I loved it because while the combat was still fairly brain dead easy, because of how many enemies there were, and it was a matter of like, oh, if I make a mistake, I'm dead, because you couldn't just recharge your health or anything on that.
I like the combat system in Assassin's Creed 3 probably a little bit more than the previous games.
It's a lot more dynamic, and I do see why, and I do give people that.
I had to get used to it, but once I did, I could appreciate it a lot.
Yeah. I still think, God, I'm such a fanboy. Assassin's Creed 1 is still my favourite and underrated. It can be dynamic if you engage with it properly, because a lot of people just wait to counter kill, which I'm like, no wonder you're having a poor time. Like, if you're using one mechanic...
No, I like counter killing. I enjoy it greatly, so I don't care.
To be fair, Assassin's Creed 3 is literally built on its counter kill system. So that,
especially because then it's the first time as well where two people could attack at the same time, and I was like, this
was
I don't know why
revolutionary.
it like this never fucking happens. They always attack one at a time in any
they're
game,
literally the
any
movie bad guy going, we're not going to fight you at the same time. We're going to send in Jim first.
Yeah.
Bob.
To be
Frank,
honest,
and me.
to
You're gonna kick us all
to
in the
give
ass.
credit, it's a poor excuse because you're meant to feel powerful, but like, you know, if you're going to be realistic in a fight, you're not going to have multiple people attacking at the same time. You're going to be like, oh, sorry, Dave.
It's kind of like why, to a degree, like it's kind of the same thing when you look at it with like the combat system. Like for a lot of games, were always very similar. Like between Assassin's Creed and the Arkham games, it's quite similar. Where it's like you're swarmed by enemies. They're all going to try and hit you. You get a chance to counter them. The only difference is in Batman, there's a chance when you're actually in the middle of punching someone's going to come up, trying to hit you.
Yeah.
But they do this thing where counter. Like they're doing the slow motion, giving you just that second long enough to go, oh, I need to counter this person.
Yeah, but to be fair, with that as well, there have been times where I played and then two guys attack me at the same time, and I'm like, guess I'm gonna dodge then, because if I counter, then I just get hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it forces you to think that way, whereas with Assassin's Creed it's a little more simplistic, which is fine.
Yeah,
I still
because
enjoy it.
I mean, as I mentioned before, it's a power fantasy, and you know that does endorse the fantasy. Because I mean, I say you're an assassin, but like you're a Brotherhood assassin. You're meant
It's
you're
not even
essentially
that you're an assassin that's a one-man army to a degree. That's the thing. Like
I mean,
taking on
well, because they're bred to be that way.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're meant to be like public. In a way, they're meant to be public fighters as they are assassins. That's the funny thing. And to go on the whole ship thing as well.
Yes.
So I had like a lot of like, when I was talking about like how I don't like, in comments, don't like the kind of on ground, because it feels like a very neutered version of what Assassin's Creed 3 is.
Yeah.
And a lot of people argue back with like, oh, it's a pirate game though. And it's like,
It is a pirate game.
It is though. That's the thing.
It's not though.
The thing is for me with Assassin's Creed Black Flag, it is like when people go, oh, Odyssey's not an Assassin's Creed game. I'm like, you're not wrong. But it's not the first time they've done it.
No.
It's very similar veins where
Yeah.
Assassins may feature in it, But is it Assassins
not
really
so-
matter?
Not even.
But what I feel is that
Yeah.
what it does perfectly, and it doesn't really reflect this in gameplay. I will go and refer to the story. Is that the assassin fantasy and the pirate fantasy reflects perfectly off each other.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the principle of it is we want to fight for our freedom, and
Yes.
that's mainly it. This doesn't feel reflected too well in gameplay because the notoriety system from AC3 would fit perfectly
Yes.
in Black
Yeah.
Flag. Like, imagine if when you're raiding ships and then you got the pirate hunters, imagine if they could hunt you on ground as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that'd
would
be
have
cool.
been
That would
sick.
be great.
Yeah.
And they would emphasize, like, the danger of, like, running around and stuff more. But, you know, obviously the pushback is, oh, it's a pirate game. And it's like,
Pirates don't just live on the water, dude. They go on
Yeah.
land occasionally.
Land pirates.
well, there's that aspect. But it's like,
Or
at the end of the
criminals.
day,
Yes.
like, you're an assassin who is living in the territory of the time.
Yeah.
And what I do like Assassin's Creed 4 is that they always make mechanics to
yeah.
fit the time period they're in, and that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing, for me, like the thing is with like, it's just Assassin's Creed's one of those very strange ones as of recently for me, where it's like it's still like every game is good, and I always think, oh, I'll revisit the old Assassin's Creed games, but I just don't get around to it. But it's
Sure.
just, I think Mirage left such a bad taste in my mouth. They didn't even bother with Shadows, and I think that would have been much better than Mirage, but I don't know.
I don't want to. I don't want to bother with either of them, to be honest with you.
But
I would rather. Well, Mirage is a broken piece of shit,
Yep.
so don't blame me for having a bad taste. Don't play Shadows. It is okay.
yeah.
I
will-
love how you said like, "Oh, Shadows did a lot of things great. Don't play it."
Alright, to start off with, you are, gameplay wise, it is mechanically sound. It's really good. And in fact,
Okay.
out of all the Ubisoft games as of recently, it's very polished. It's really good in that regard.
Okay.
However, combat doesn't feel particularly great.
Okay.
You don't really parkour anywhere because every building's kind of like, you know, head height.
It's just one small building per square
Yeah.
And
kilometer.
it still feels really good. I will give them that. But then you got the story, which is plagued by their fucking insistence of having like, we must have everyone be able to select their answers. So rather than having like
Yeah.
no
I never
cap
cared
about
scenes.
that.
I'm not.
No,
a fan
but
of
they
that.
they don't. No, it's
As in,
it's
I
uncanny.
don't. To me, it doesn't make sense for an Assassin's Creed game to have that because
Yeah.
you're reliving
No,
a
no,
memory that
that's-
already happened.
That's not what I'm trying to lead into. It's
Okay.
it's the fact that because of this, they can't have mocap scenes, and every NPC has this horrid, uncanny valley reaction. So it's like you'll get like the most expressive things, and like even Assassin's Creed Black Flag, for how quick it was made,
Yeah.
it was very high quality in terms of
Yeah.
its cutscenes. But then you got AC fucking Shadows, which is like, oh, I'm glad that you're doing well today.
But that's been a problem that they've had for a very long time because I've noticed
yeah,
this
they
in other
have.
very
games.
recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since Odyssey,
Yeah.
really.
Odyssey kind of had this. I think they just about got away with it, but
They did it well.
wasn't- Yeah.
They
They
put the dev time
hid.
into
I think
that.
They
they
put
hid
dev
a
time.
lot of it well.
I feel like I didn't see much of Valhalla. I did see a friend of mine play Mirage, and that was my main issue with every time I saw a cutscene was they said things, they didn't feel shit, their eyes said nothing.
Yeah.
It was creepy as
So
hell.
imagine, imagine it's like, how dare you do this thing to me?
Yeah.
You know what it's like? It's like dealing with the villagers from Minecraft. They're going, at you.
No, that has more emotion than this.
Fair enough.
No, I feel like it's more like dealing with an NPC from like an older Bethesda game,
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
where it's like,
Yeah. Because
stop there,
I'm
criminal
so-
scum.
I'm surprised they didn't say that every
Your
time you
stolen goods will not be
assassinated someone.
no, it's
It's like you killed someone in public.
Yeah.
Stop right
kind
there.
of like how some NPCs, like you have like the classic NPC reactions. We actually weirdly had this very recently. Were you there for that session in D&D? I think you were on Thursday, where we were all like taking watch at some point, and there was like a sound outside the door, and I was on
Yes.
watch, and I went, I'll go check out what that was. I rolled on that one, didn't know see what it was. I'm like,
Must
I
have
just-
been the wind.
Literally, I just said that must have been the wind. I went, fuck it, I'm an NPC in this one.
Yeah.
Must have been the wind. I just left.
Yeah.
And it's like you have NPCs who are that dumb as shit. I think.
I don't mind dumb aspects of NPCs because again,
Yeah,
to
it
help
depends.
emphasize the fantasy of being an assassin,
Yeah,
you
of
need kind
course.
of dumb as shit as AI sometimes
Yeah.
to kind of help you with your flow, predictable AI and stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's aspects like that I can be accepting of because it helps enforce the fantasy.
Yeah, of course.
But then you got like really shit cutscenes, and I'm
No,
like, you're a AAA company.
Dumb NPCs are fine. Badly done cutscenes are not.
No.
And that's kind of the problem. And I think, it's very much everything Ubisoft has touched as of recently is kind of turned to shit.
Yeah.
In every regard. For God's sake, they got a Star Wars game, and like Star Wars is usually a surefire hit for money.
Do you mean Assassin's Creed Star Wars Edition? Because they had the Assassin's Creed stealth system.
Don't you mean the game where you can hide from enemies by just sitting on a ladder?
Oh yeah, fuck.
God, it was so fucking bad.
So they basically had gold and were like, we accidentally made shit, and then, George Lucas is going, how?
What I don't understand is, I remember when the game was originally announced, but it wasn't announced as Star Wars Outlaws, it was just announced as a Star Wars game, and I think initially it was supposed to be like a co-op game, made by the guys who did The Division, and me and a friend of mine were like, oh shit, we're gonna get like a Division-style Star Wars game, it's gonna be so awesome. And then we get this, and I didn't bother playing it, but I just kind of watched other people play it.
I watched the cutscenes from it, and I was like, the story seems fine, but the gameplay looks shit.
It looks awful.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to bother with it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I think Ubisoft has burned a lot of goodwill. Like, any goodwill they have had, they've burned out now.
Mind you, they could be EA. EA is not great.
We say that. I feel like EA has actually done some damage repair as of recently in the last few years with some of the games they've released that are actually quite good.
To go on that note, I think Ubisoft is having that slight transition. So, to give context, the leadership of Ubisoft has recently changed, and unfortunately, it's one of the sons of the CEOs who's now taken over, which is like, great, nepotism. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but to be fair, in terms of creative leads for specific projects, so I only know more for Assassin's Creed because, as we all say, Ubisoft touches and basically turns to shit.
Yep.
However, they got the Guild creative director to basically lead the entirety of the Assassin's Creed stuff. So, like, everything that's Assassin's Creed is going to be led by him, approved by him, and its name's John de Gon. I can't pronounce his name because he's French. It's a French company. I wonder this shit. Sorry, French. But my point is that there's decisions that I look at and I think this is really smart. Who are you?
Yeah.
And then it does make me intrigued in that regard because I do want to see where this leads.
Yeah.
They have Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, and I think they're gonna fucking nail it just because of the very fact that they got the old creative director to come back on it.
And they've also now got literally no choice.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I do worry about their next project, which is Assassin's Creed Hexe, which is currently going through development hell with, like, they fired their the third creative director I think is left. And funnily enough, that creative director was the creative director of Watch Dogs Legion, which
doesn't surprise me.
While mechanically seems interesting and on a concept, was shit because they didn't give it enough time. Because Ubisoft was like, no, we gotta get this out now, now.
I think because the thing is as well, like, the reason I'm willing to give, not EA a pass, I give them they made, Split Fiction, which everyone loved.
Yes, but to be fair, these are games that are developed by a studio and then EA just distributes.
Yeah, which is fair.
Split Fiction was phenomenal, I'll give them that.
But then they also had Battlefield 6, which there are some faults with, but overall the game is good, and it's very much a return to form.
For some, yes.
For some, but that's just, I don't know why yours just doesn't handle it. Everyone else seems to be fine with it. Well, most people.
Not everyone.
Most people seem to be fine.
A quick side note, I do love the fact that your love for Battlefield is akin to my love for Assassin's Creed. Like, it's going through its awkward phase, and now it's going back to form.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's happening with me yet, but if it does,
what else?
We can hold hands.
I like Rockstar, so I'm not losing. Yet.
Oh, fair.
I mean, Mind's Eye exists, and that's a lot of former Rockstar people behind that, so...
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it is what
I think that's the thing, like...
Yeah.
To be fair, I'll be blunt, I'm in that camp that I think GTA is a bit overhyped.
That's fair.
And even with Red Dead. I think I can appreciate that they're all good games, but I think... Yeah, there's just things about them that are a bit overhyped.
I'm weirdly in between with this, because I'm in between for everything. Fuck me. Being bisexual is so hard. But
you're in between us right now.
Nice.
Not in that context.
Well, you made it that context. I made it that context, and you followed.
But yeah.
No, I really love Red Dead because, of course, I get to live the cowboy fantasy. It doesn't intrigue. I know, obviously, it's not a life simulator for GTA,
No.
but it's very akin to that, and that doesn't interest me.
I will say this: Red Dead Redemption 2 is a phenomenal game. Probably one of my favorite games of all time. Would never play it again.
That's
Once is
fair.
really enough.
That's fair.
I tried to get into it. I think I got a couple hours and I just couldn't keep going.
I loved experiencing the game, but the idea of going through all of that again is just dreadful to me.
I don't want to be a Red Dead Redemption 2 glazer because fuck me.
Yeah.
These guys have been very annoying with like, oh, it doesn't look like Red Dead 2. Like 0 out of 10, and I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm sorry, but like
it shouldn't be a standard.
They compared it to Ghost of Yotei in terms of graphical stuff, and then like Ghost of Yotei had like 4 years of development with like
Red Dead Redemption 2 was like
10 years with like
that's the thing.
budget.
I think Rockstar fans very much are among they're like the elitist fans where it's like, oh look, it's ours so much where it's like you guys got 10 years of development time.
Also
for
we
the
never get any fucking game.
And you also got a worth of 5 years of delays on top of the 10 years, let's be blunt. And they produce gold that is hours of entertainment, but that's not for everyone.
It's okay, they're just jealous because within the span of a couple of years, people have had 2 Ghost games and they're still waiting for GTA 6.
After 13, it comes out next year, right? So it'll have been 14 years by then.
Yeah.
I'm actually loving the idea that I could just go over and just if I could just take over Rockstar, I'd be like, and we have news on GTA 6. We're delaying it till 2030. Why? It's kind of the standard. You know, we have a delay schedule we need to meet. Just to fuck with.
So we've decided to do this because you kept comparing Red Dead 2 to other games, even indie games. So we're deciding to be spiteful and delay it further.
Yeah. Fuck you.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think those games should be compared to anything else.
No, it's its own thing.
Really
They're very even them. Like I know when I was like talking to you guys when the beta for Battlefield 6 was coming out, and like talking to Garen about it, and like I was referencing Call of Duty. I only do it because it's the only one people think of. And like, what kind of game is it? I'm like, how do I describe Battlefield? I mean, it's not really Call of Duty. It's
similar.
But
it's like somewhere in between Call of Duty and Squad.
To clarify, I don't
it's
think
more Squad than Call of Duty.
Yeah,
I don't
Squad's
think
more Battlefield than.
I don't think there's anything wrong with comparison. To clarify, but I do like to use comparison to help kind of.
Contextualizing.
Yeah,
but not compare to like quality or whatever.
Yeah, but it's also you have to also respect the artistic direction that it comes from because it's like what we discussed with like Hitman and Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's really cool because that is those two games are very close to each other more than I like to admit. But
you can still choose whichever one you prefer, and neither answer is wrong.
Exactly.
And for context, because like I remember. And to be fair, maybe just I think in the end it was on me just not kind of describing it well enough. But at the end, I'm not going to describe every facet of every game and how I play it. But it's like in Battlefield, I said it's not Call of Duty where you just constantly run around and shoot. And there'd be points where I would run up to something, Garen, when we were playing the beta. It's like, oh, I thought you said it was like Call of Duty. I'm like, I'm running to an objective. I'm not just running around for the sake of running around, which is what you do in Call of Duty. I have to get there.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, we lose.
Yeah.
So it's you're running towards something, or I'm running towards a better position.
Yeah.
You have to run,
and
put
also ideally
in
Call of Duty, even in like Warzone or whatever, you could solo the whole thing if you wanted to, and if you're actually that good. Battlefield is like, nah, you gotta stick together.
You don't even have to constantly stick next to each other, but you've got to be aware of where your teammates are.
Yeah, because you gotta be able to revive each other and
not even just that. It's like covering each other. It's like, okay, if I'm running here and my teammate is aware I'm running, let's just start shooting.
Exactly.
I mean,
suppressive fire.
This is why I get very upset with like the gentrification of games. And to be fair, we all are culprits of this. We like the game that other fans feel like, oh, they kind of simplified it a bit too much for me to make it more akin to other games.
Sure.
And you know, I remember there was like a lot of criticism for Call of Duty fans, I'm assuming, that Battlefield you weren't able to like solo and kill 10 people.
Yeah, and you can call them kill
complaint.
streaks.
Yeah, because it's like go play Call of Duty.
I have my complaints about Call of Duty as a Call of Duty fan. I think the last one fucking sucks. That's my problem with it.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where I knew the only reason. Like I knew they were going to add a battle royale, but I was like, oh, we don't need one. And you had the Call of Duty players coming going like, oh, like what was his name, like QXC or whatever. It was like
XQC, yeah.
Yeah, it needs battle pass. It needs battle royale. I'm like, fuck off.
It doesn't.
Fuck off with your Call of Duty shit and go
It
fucking play
needs
something
none
else.
of those
Like,
things.
And then other players, like other streamers are the bane.
Like my
Yeah.
my retort to that is don't put shit in my gold. Like
Yeah, exactly. And then other ones being like, dude, could you imagine if we had kill streaks in this game? Like,
no.
you mean like a fucking tank that you can just get into and fucking drive around?
Yeah, just take the tank.
Fucking. And like they're probably the reason I know why is it because they can't fucking fly a helicopter. They're like, oh, but I just rather the helicopter fly around and do shit for me and just do what I want it to do. It's like
Then play Call of Duty. And
then play Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Just because you fucking suck at the game or you're tired of playing the same shit all over again. Because this is the other one where people were like, streamers who only played battle royales like Warzone
Yeah.
and Fortnite were like, when Halo, the new Halo was coming out, and they were like, man, I'm seeing this game and all I can think of is battle. I'm like, you don't want to keep playing the same game,
No.
but you do want to play the same game with a different skin. That's all this is.
Yeah. And I mean, to drag it back to Assassin's Creed, like the
Yes.
nerd I am, but I mean, this is something that really irked me with like
Yeah.
the new RPG series. It wasn't that they
Yeah.
weren't. It wasn't that they weren't well built. I acknowledge the fact that Odyssey has some really
Yeah.
cool mechanics
I mean,
and it was well built,
I-
but like
I
It's
think
just-
I told you the other day as well. Like I 100%ed Odyssey, and for the largest extent of it, I had great pleasure doing so.
yeah,
Doesn't mean that I think it's an Assassin's Creed game because
Yeah.
I think it isn't.
It's
Yeah.
not.
you know, it's a shame. It does add some cool, interesting lore in some capacity, but like
Some.
even then, it's like far and few between because it tries to be a massive open world RPG. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a hot take or not, but like I acknowledge the fact that Ubisoft has set multiple standards for like open world games because
Sure.
you know Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, they added the very traditional bandit camp system with its
Yes.
Forger towers, and the reason they did that was because they did that because it was part of the story. Whereas now you got bandit camps and loads of open world games, and it's
Yeah.
like, why the fuck am I entering this bandit camp? What benefit
Because
does it
they're
give me?
bad guys, and you gotta kill bad guys.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Go on and kill some bad guys.
If I was a
Yeah.
game
You
developer-
would like some XP, would you not? You know how you
Wait,
can get a
I've
lot of
just
XP
realised-
If
killing
I-
some
if-
bad guys.
if I was a
Far
game
Cry
developer-
is also Ubisoft, isn't it?
Yes, Far
Yeah.
Cry has the same. Far Cry is the same shit, and also
it's just first person.
sticking with Far Cry like games, the Avatar game that they made.
Oh,
is-
Far Cry Avatar.
Yes, Far Cry Avatar, worst offender of all of them because they made the game. People got the game. They were like, "Oh, it's like Far Cry but with Avatar." You know what? Not very creative, but we'll play it. And then they released DLC for it, and then somehow they locked it in such a way that you need the DLC to play the base game.
Oh.
Like people had
Oh.
save
This is the
files with the
reason-
base game.
Yeah.
When the DLC came out, they couldn't go back into that.
Yeah. This is
I'm wondering, do they fix that though?
I
I
think-
don't know.
I
I
don't-
hope they did for their sake.
This is
Yeah.
why ultimately when people are like, oh, at least they're not Ubisoft, I'm like,
Yeah.
bullshit. They are. They
But
are now.
to be fair,
I'm sorry,
even if they did
Ubisoft
fix
is
it,
EA.
I remember that they did this. This is the No Man's Sky thing all over again.
Yeah.
Is that they did fix No Man's Sky in the end.
Yeah.
But we know what they did initially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the
but
thing
then we
is
can
with-
argue with that with Cyberpunk as well. I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, saying
Yeah.
that,
I
Cyberpunk
think-
drew me in because of its world, but we can't.
Yeah.
I don't know how forgiving are we being to games like Cyberpunk that have like ruined
I
their
still
games
haven't
from
played
inception? Do you recommend?
Cyberpunk?
It is a good
It's
game.
like-
I like
it's
it a
like-
lot.
it's
I still need to
Cyberpunk.
finish it. but it's
Cybercom.
I think the thing is though with it is, I think, however, having said that, I can give leeway for some cases. Like No Man's Sky wasn't made by a AAA company.
Okay. Yeah.
Where I'm like, if you're a AAA
Mm.
company, you're setting a standard where you are meant to release gold because the prices you're setting for your fucking game.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's a developer's
Mm.
real first entry into making a AAA game, like it was with No Man's Sky, I'm like, if they fumble, they'll probably will because it's
Yeah.
their first attempt and not everyone hits it the first
Yeah.
time. With Cyberpunk, it's a little weird, but I think Cyberpunk, the CD Projekt Red had built up enough goodwill to allow one
Yeah.
fumble, and that was their first fumble.
And they
in
did
a
recover from
and
it.
they did recover, and
Yeah.
they did apologize. They were like, you know what, guys, kind of fucked
There's-
up on that part.
Yeah.
Some developers were a bit shitty about it, but they were told to shut up very quickly.
There was a game reviewer called The Sphere Hunter.
Yeah.
Fucking love her. Who I love her reviews. To go on a quick
Yeah.
tangent because it is in relation. Whenever she does reviews, I find she tends to get like guest appearances, and she got a guest appearance for her Cyberpunk
Ooh.
review, which was I can't remember his
Keanu
name.
from Keanu Reeves.
The guy who literally made the tabletop the tabletop.
Oh, sick! Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he went to CD Projekt Red and was like, I want you to make Cyberpunk. I can't remember his name for the fucking life of me.
I don't know.
either.
But like, it was so intriguing hearing his thoughts on the matter and like what the development was like and how they wanted to fix this. And he even said like, we need to fix this.
Yeah.
So seeing their passion and seeing that, that's what makes me forgive it a bit more. Whereas Ubisoft are kind of like, we're fixing it because fans are demanding it, but it doesn't feel.
Yeah.
And
like if they hadn't said anything, they would have done.
Yeah,
anything.
they would have just.
Yeah.
And here's the biggest thing: when CD Projekt Red did fuck up, I don't think they really said anything publicly. They just kind of were quiet about it somewhat and fixed it. I appreciate that because that's exactly what No Man's Sky did. They fucked it up. They fixed it quietly.
CD Projekt Red were quiet about
Yeah.
their 2.0 update. For the other updates to try and fix the initial stuff, they were quiet. But then when they released their anime, which was Studio Trigger's Cyberpunk Edge Runners, they realized there was a surge in popularity because of that. So they used that to their advantage and basically made public of their latest update, which basically we're going to restructure the whole game so that way it feels better.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I will say with Fallout, which is Microsoft, but they did a similar thing, but they fucked up. So basically, when the original show came out, well, I say the original show. When the show came out in its first season,
I still need to watch
not naming any names, but I had a friend who basically was super into Fallout, and they basically asked me, based on watching the show, which I did enjoy, would I play the games? I said, maybe, I don't know, I don't really know where to begin. They got me Fallout 4, so I was like, okay, I'll start with this. And immediately I noticed I have a wider screen at home. There was no support for it because the game was just not made with that in mind. But the modding community made it possible to adapt for that. So I was like, great, these are really easy accessible mods. Because of the popularity with the show, there was a surge in gamers. They released a new update that broke all of the mods. And I couldn't just use it. Everything wasn't working anymore for me. The screen resolution was weird.
We say as we say at least
thanks, Todd.
We say at least it's not Ubisoft, but at least it's not Bethesda.
At least not. Honestly, again, for me, at least not Bethesda. At least not Ubisoft. At least not EA. Honestly, it's getting to this point where all of these studios have blood in their hands.
Companies,
Yeah.
At that stage.
2K is bad.
2K is
real bad.
My list of like indie games you should play. Dead as Disco. Recommend if you like Batman Arkham series.
Fair enough. Yeah.
If you like parkour and you're not getting that from Assassin's Creed, Rooftop Finales made by one dude. Fucking brilliant.
Nice.
So,
Yeah.
Going back to like the thing I was mentioning before, like with how developers like handle when their games fucking fail. Ubisoft has to be one of the worst offenders.
Yeah.
They fucking go after.
So,
Remember when it was Baldur's Gate 3 came out, and there was some developers I think or some studios I think Ubisoft said, guys, don't expect this to be the norm.
Yes.
And it's like,
so
it's always
my
been the norm.
favorite thing, if I remember correctly, and you probably know better, so correct me if I'm wrong. I think when Shadows came out, it was a broken piece of shit in a lot of ways.
Go on.
They basically responded by saying, we heard you, it's broken, and we're gonna fix it. After doing all of these updates that are on the roadmap, and then eventually we'll get around to this.
I think that was more Valhalla.
Now I remember this pretty recently being Shadows.
Okay, so
it might have been rinse repeat, to be fair.
It could be.
I don't recall Shadows being broken.
Okay.
I do recall there was a lot of flaws of its game, such as its kind of parkour system being kind of bland and basic and stuff like that. And
that's not the kind of game for parkour, though.
And they made a whole roadmap about making parkour updates, and it was a whole big thing.
Yes.
And this is what I mean. It's just what the fuck are we doing here? I'm sorry. In Assassin's Creed, a series that was born from Prince of Persia, a game literally set about doing parkour and movement, and you've decided to not focus on that in replacement for an open world RPG. Just make a different game.
Exactly. That was my thing with why I just couldn't get into Odyssey. I'm like, this is just not Assassin's Creed.
To be fair, I was able to look past that eventually, and just kind of enjoying the game for what it is. But it is the kind of thing where it's like, this is not Assassin's Creed. Maybe that made me enjoy it more.
I can make arguments to why Odyssey is Assassin's Creed. If I was going to be really nice in defense, But the thing is, even then, like, it kind of
10 years.
it fucks itself, really. Like,
Yeah.
if we're talking about, like, you know, a lot of the big arguments with stealth systems, and this is the thing that really irks me, is because you're forgetting the context of why these mechanics are there. So a lot of people defend Odyssey as a good stealth game because you could crouch. I'm like,
No,
it's
I wouldn't
not
go
about
there.
the fucking crouching. Like, Jesus,
You can
like
fucking
you're
crouch in Call of Duty. Who gives a shit?
yeah, literally. Like, can you blend in groups though? Can you? Do you
Yeah,
have?
You can do
do
none
you
of
have
those
like?
things, yeah.
Do you have unique, interesting methods of approaching stealth that isn't just?
Can you hide in a haystack?
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like, this is the point. Like, they're not
assumed
taking like
you
the
could,
creative
but I was
approach.
just
It's like, oh, how
Yeah.
about a crowd of people that can circle through and then stab someone behind
Because-
the back? Like,
Yeah.
how many games
Yeah.
let you do that? Not many.
No.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey certainly
other-
doesn't.
No.
The other thing I think as well, like Assassin's Creed is one of those games where the setting is such an important aspect
Yeah.
of the game. The setting is essentially another character.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where it's like there's some where it's really cool in concept, but maybe in practice. And it's like people go, oh, feudal Japan would be so great. I'm like, yeah, but you love parkouring, you love climbing up buildings. Feudal Japan wasn't famous for high, tall
Fun,
buildings.
fun fact,
Yeah.
fun
Yeah.
fact
To be
about
fair-
parkouring, it's not actually a word.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
sorry,
fair.
go on. I'm being a nerd. now. You
The
carry
thing
on
to
saying
me
it.
is basically they kind of shot themselves in the foot in some ways
Yeah.
because basically with the first game being during Crusades, they said the Templars are the great evil that's been through the years and everything. Templars before the Crusades is a bit of a stretch, but then what do you do before that, and like how do you
Well,
really get around that? And
not only do they kind of fuck up their own lore, and to be honest, like
Well, they have
I'm
to.
willing to see what they could have done to expand on this, and that was fine. That was
Yeah.
never an issue for me. But it was more the fact that, like, so to correlate with what you said, the setting is important. I know loads of people are so like, we want an Assassin's Creed set in feudal Japan. I don't agree. I never agreed.
no,
with
I
that.
never wanted that.
I thought that was incredibly generic and cheesy.
I
Just
don't-
because it's
yeah.
like
Use-
assassins and ninjas. I'm
It's
like,
just a bunch of
Yeah.
weebs wanting for
So
this. That's all it is.
Yeah, the way I always looked at it, and it was sort of the same thing when they did, like Victorian London, and I'm like, the distance between the buildings is such a big thing, though.
That's a really big thing, yeah.
yeah, I
like-
think they could have made it work.
They
They're
could have made
clever
it work.
enough.
I just think the route they went around it with the zip lining stuff
Oh,
didn't really
God,
work.
No.
But the other one was like, and then if you want a game set in East Asia, China would have been so much better because it's so much more densely packed and populated. The buildings are actually designed for that. For
Yeah,
that
but maybe a
purpose.
different time period.
Well,
Yeah, no,
maybe
and a
if
different.
you-
Yeah, fine with a different part. Like
if
the
you-
Opium Wars would have been really
Yeah.
cool.
If
That
you-
would have made sense.
If you're gonna go for Japan, I would have loved like, what was it when Europe tried to like, I can't remember I don't know what this time period is called. I'm sorry, I'm shit at history.
It was around
fine.
during the 1700s when European colonization was like going through East.
Which that's
Eastern Asia.
Yeah.
which was kind of a time period that I think Assassin's Creed Shadows was kind of a part of, but I think it was the very early stages of that. I can't
Yeah.
remember, but like I would have loved to like seen like the more European architecture mixed in with that
This
because
is-
that would because
'cause-
that would environmentally tell the story of like
Yeah.
Well-
the oppression that people were facing.
Well,
and that's part of
here's
that.
the thing:
Yeah.
Japan got away with not really ever having to face it properly.
True.
Compared to China. Because here's the thing, and it comes down to, and I thought about this a lot because I was thinking about recently after watching a lot of, well, like with Nuremberg and watching other World War II movies. Japan got away with a lot of things with European colonization because they didn't have anything Europe wanted. They didn't
Yeah.
have opium or precious metals and coal like China did. They didn't have oil like Southeast Asia did. They basically they looked at Japan and went, "What do you have? Pretty flowers? Yeah,
Yeah.
got that
We
everywhere
have
else.
poetry.
We have Nah,
Yeah.
fuck you. Do you have good steel? No, our steel's surprisingly shit. Yeah, fuck you then. We're not interested.
We know how to
Whereas
fold it
why
several
China-
times into a more dense steel.
China-
Don't give a shit. Too much effort.
China would have made so much more sense simply because of the Opium War when Britain came there and just took over China, wiped out the Chinese fleet, wiped out the Chinese army, oppressed them for fucking years.
Funnily
Yeah.
enough, there is also an Assassin's Creed game that is set in China.
I know.
Assassin's Creed Chronicles.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
heard
Let's
about
see,
it.
there we go.
But once again, it's like you could have had that been sent there. Or like anywhere in Southeast Asia would have been fine. And it
Literally
would, like
just-
you could have had one set in India.
Literally-
India would be a really
Yeah.
cool place for
Literally
Assassin's
anything
Creed
for
game.
Assassin's Creed Shadow. Well, this is the thing. I think there was again going off on like a YouTuber called Leo K. He had a discussion with a guy called White Light, if you've ever heard of him. Really great content creators, I recommend. But they had this whole discussion about like the settings and the uniqueness of it. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm completely in agreement. Like,
Yeah.
you got like Viking-esque stuff, you got like ancient Greek-esque stuff, but like, what games did like Renaissance Italy and stuff like that?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and this is why I appreciated their comment, because it kind of helped me kind of think and articulate how I feel about these settings as it is now, because it's like, you know,
they're following the crowd as opposed to setting their own standards.
Yeah,
exactly. Like, I liked Assassin's Creed Valhalla, not because it was a good game, but because I like Vikings, and that's it. And I would happily admit that.
That's fine.
But like,
you're allowed.
But then you got like games, like I know the American Revolution is very popular. I'm assuming amongst Americans, nowhere else. For
I don't give
reasons.
a fuck.
But
it
even
makes no difference.
You guys
to my life
should, because
whatsoever.
we beat you. No, we just stopped fighting because we didn't care about your shithole
And also,
country.
they had like 3 other countries as allies.
Yeah.
Like,
they allied with the French.
yeah.
Which,
sorry, that's losing by default.
And for context, the world has only ever had 2 hyperpowers, not superpowers, hyperpowers, which was the British Empire and the French Empire. So you literally had to call the only rival Britain really had.
Roman.
No, they were a superpower. The
Fair.
reason I say hyperpower is because Britain had literal colonies on every
Fair
continent.
Yeah.
But
Which, for what Rome was, they were a superpower.
mm,
But just for what Britain was, they were a hyperpower.
Yeah.
But it, like, again, it goes into the whole context of like,
Yes.
you know, what games are set in those periods. Like, how about even
Exactly.
like
Barely any.
Yeah.
Name me one game that was set during the Italian Renaissance.
Can't really think of anything else.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a highly indie game.
Yeah.
That was really
And even
specifically about
then-
like art stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah.
But even then, it's
Having said that as well, we should probably look
Wrap
to
up.
wrap up
no worries.
because we
So
we're
overall,
our time.
I'm excited for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync. I want to see
Good.
how they do approach it. If they
That's
fuck
good.
up, they fuck up.
Yeah.
I don't want them to make Assassin's Creed 1 because I'm
Leave it
not
alone.
very that I'm not look, I'm opening to trust. I'm not that trusting yet.
No.
You're basically Ubisoft is basically like a toxic ex.
Yes.
They've cheated on you constantly, and now you're like, am I willing to forgive this one?
It's not just that they cheated on you, but they also stole your money and then spent it on things that then they asked you to pay more money
They've
to.
cheated on you with your family members.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that level as well.
It's like
Yeah.
your father.
Whereas I feel like EA is that abusive friend that just keeps beating you and asking for money afterwards, but because they're your friend, you give it to them anyway.
Microtransactions.
Yeah, exactly. No, actually, they're not there. That's it. They're not the abusive friend. They're that scummy friend who always has money but asks for you to pay for lunch.
Yeah,
and
but
I was
now,
gonna say-
now we know where that money is coming from.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
exactly.
say, like, abusive would imply that they could beat you in a fight.
That's very true.
That
Yeah,
is also
And I
true.
can't imagine EA going,
Well, they are extremely agile.
yeah.
oh yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
thank you very much for watching again. Thank you to Max for being here
for
again.
being here. For
I
coming
am
along.
Or
happy-
for the first time. I don't know which order these are releasing. Probably this one first. Anyway, he will be here again.
Sup?
So,
See you later, nerds.
see you then.
I'll talk
Bye-bye.
more about Assassin's Creed another time.
Nice.